Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is suing a number of people, well over 40 individuals and corporations. This is a very important segment because it talks about an FBI official, former agent, former top echelon, top person within the hierarchy at that point, named Peter Strzok. He was investigating, one of the lead investigators during the Clinton email probe, and also one of the lead investigators during Crossfire Hurricane. Okay? The Clinton email probe was named Mid-Year Exam, I believe. So you could look at the different types of names. Mid-Year Exam, gosh, a Democrat running for the presidency, having cheated Bernie Sanders in a primary that wasn't fair and neutral, just happened to have 30,000 emails deleted without government oversight, and had top secret intelligence on servers. And Peter Strzok and McCabe and James Comey and all of them never explained how top secret intelligence got to servers, was transferred or migrated to servers outside of the United States government. They just can't happen from a cybersecurity perspective. But anyway, that was Mid-Year Exam. Then Peter Strzok, along with James Comey, said, well, she didn't mean to do it. It was unintentional. They unintentionally transferred or migrated top secret and special access program intelligence from secure government locations onto Clinton's servers for 4 years. Now, I want a Hillary Clinton-Trump rematch, and that's the truth. That's not sarcasm or satire. Sometimes I do these segments that are satirical. Very few people don't realize that it's satire. Most people love them. But when I say Trump is getting indicted for this or that, it's purely satirical. You can watch those segments. I might do one today also. But so this gentleman was the lead investigator, one of the top people at the Bureau for 2 different investigations. One where you could have easily indicted the person for classified data, for mishandling classified data blatantly and deliberately. But they said it was unintentional. So they went to bat and covered up for the Democrat. And with Trump, they obtained a dossier and obtained Alpha Bank information and listened to very highly partisan, absurd intel reports stating that they had high to moderate confidence that Trump was installed by another country. Okay, these are the same people who are indignant that Trump doesn't accept certain things. But they don't. They try to fabricate and lie and deceive the American public. And that pertains directly to 18 U.S. Code 371, which McCabe and James Comey should be charged under. And I wrote about that in The Federalist. Type in H.A. Goodman Federalist. You could see that article. And I wrote a lot about the Durham probe special counsel. But in Trump's lawsuit, he's suing a whole bunch of people and individuals and corporations, including Peter Strzok, who investigated him, one of the lead investigators for the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I'm going to go through each of the people he's suing on this channel. It's right in the lawsuit papers that you can get from a Politico article. Trump sues Hillary Clinton and allies over Russia claims. And then within the Politico article, the sprawling 100-page complaint, and then it's a link to the complaint. Now, hit subscribe to this channel. We're almost at 196,000 subs. This is a very, very important segment. You're going to find out exactly why he's suing Peter Strzok, who is still to this day. I think he wrote a book. I think he has a book out also, and he's on MSNBC or CNN talking about how Trump is still a big menace to national security. But I want to read you, and Strzok is suing the FBI for firing him over anti-Trump text messages. He was also kicked out of the Mueller probe. So the chutzpah, the audacity. He's a lead investigator, and so they're going after Clarence Thomas's wife for emails, but the spouses of all of those justices, of course, have similar viewpoints to the Supreme Court justice. This situation is completely different. You're not expressing your First Amendment rights by saying Trump is a menace and we are going to stop Trump. If you have the power to stop Trump as a bureau official investigating him based on nonsense, based on information that your direct political rivals purchased, then you would never allow a police officer in a trial to get away with those kind of text messages. If the officer said, we're going to get this person because of who he is or because of his political ideology, that would be used in court. So, likewise, you cannot investigate Donald Trump and then say that you're going to stop him. This is not right. This is illegal. And when you talk about 18 U.S. Code 371, all of those people, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, Comey, all of them conspired to deceive the American public. Now, according to the Washington Post and others, the New York Times, it was worth a healthy look. That was the actual quote from the Washington Post. It was worth a healthy look. This was not a healthy look. You have tens of millions of Americans still deceived, still thinking that the Kremlin installed Trump, all because of a hoax, a lie, an absurd propaganda spin that filtered through the intelligence services, 3 of them, and then through publications like Mother Jones and BuzzFeed and the Washington Post and the New York Times and others. These were lies about Trump. They were baseless claims. But again, when it's Hunter's emails, all of these publications say, gosh, we got to verify. Well, you didn't verify the Steele dossier, did you? You didn't verify Alpha Bank. You didn't even verify that there was a 7-hour gap in the phone records for January. A day later, they found out, there was no 7-hour gap. It was landline calls and cell phone calls. So, again, any news story about Trump is always sensationalized. Any legitimate, real news story about Democrats, that's the work of Putin, who wants you to know, or another country, the Kremlin wants you to know that Democrats are corrupt, thus forcing you to vote for somebody else. That's the absurd mind, the paradigm. But here, within Trump's lawsuit, okay, so Peter Strzok texted, he has endless text saying he's going to stop Trump. He was in a position to stop Trump. He was investigating Trump, and he tried his best to do so. But here, so this is on page 31 of the lawsuit. No, wait a second. The 31 of Trump's lawsuit says text messages between Strzok and FBI Special Counsel Lisa Page revealed that both of them had utter disdain for the subject of their investigation, Donald J. Trump, and were determined to ensure Hillary Clinton won 2016. For example, on August 8, 2016, Page texted Strzok, Trump's not ever going to become president, right? And Strzok replied, no, he's not. We'll stop it. The text messages also contained references to an insurance policy that was being cultivated by Strzok, Page, McCabe, Comey, and others at the Bureau in the event Trump were to win. And then, they always come up so you've had some publications saying, it was actually, some sources say it was just actually, it wasn't an actual policy, it was this or it was that, it was a calendar. Again, they're basically caught red-handed with their text messages. And if these text messages were saying, we'll stop Clinton, and again, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump rematch. That's not satire. I pray for that every single day. Because they tried so hard to save face. They created such a spectacle, such a calamity, simply because they lost to Trump. We need to do this over again and exercise those demons of 2016. We're still living in a 2016 matrix, ladies and gentlemen. So there's a philosophical element to me wanting Clinton versus Trump again, aside from other reasons, me being vindicated, because I know that she's not stopped wanting to become president, nor should she. I mean, look who we have now, mashed potato brains. Everything is horrendous. But anyway, so the text messages also contain references to, so that for instance, on August 15, 2016, Strzok texted Page, I want to believe the path you threw out for consideration in Andy's office, that there's no way Trump gets elected, but I'm afraid we can't take that risk. It's like an insurance policy in the unlikely event. Okay, so They are talking about, no, don't worry, Trump's not going to get elected. They're talking about, no, Trump will get elected, and we have to stop it. They're talking about all of these things, okay? And they're conspiring both to defraud and deceive the United States public, because whether or not this man or anyone at the Bureau truly believed Trump was installed by the Kremlin, that's irrelevant. The information that they obtained was completely fabricated. If they were duped, that just shows how incompetent they were. But they weren't duped. They knew very well that Trump wasn't installed because the National Security Agency, the Central Intelligence Agency, had no intelligence derived from the United States intelligence agencies. All the intelligence, quote unquote, that they utilized against Trump, everything that was deemed evidence by people who think Trump was installed by another country, was purchased. The origins, the intel never originated within the U.S. government. There was never, there were confidence assessments, but there was never any evidence. They never found emails. They never found a money trail. They never found all the only thing they found was, oh, there were Facebook ads that helped Trump, so therefore another country must want him. This is absurd. You could say the same things about the origins of you-know-what. Oh, well, Democrats don't want to talk about that, so that helps another country, so they're installed by that country. But anyway, by August 16, 2016, the FBI had opened up individual cases under Crossfire Hurricane umbrella. As to 4 individuals, Carter Page, George Papadopoulos, Paul Manafort, and Michael Flynn. Peter Strzok was also one of the people who set up and framed Michael Flynn. Okay, he had an interview with Clinton, and he had an interview with Michael Flynn. He set up and framed Michael Flynn. Michael Flynn never worked with another country. He never, and even the judge within the case originally said, he sold his country out. Sorry, he didn't do that. He was not under contract. He wasn't consulting for any country while he was working as the National Security Advisor. But everyone heard that. And Flynn's calls were already transcribed and already listened to and already tapped. So they knew that he wasn't doing anything, problematic with Sergei Kislyak, who, by the way, you're allowed to speak to ambassadors. And there was no organized attempt to work with another country. So that whole paranoia, Red Scare, Cold War, McCarthy-era tactic, it worked. For a short time, it worked. But you got to understand, everybody knows what's right and wrong. And everybody understands that Peter Strzok was one of the top people. He set up Michael Flynn. McCabe called up Michael Flynn saying, from what I understand, from what's been reported, we'll just have an informal meeting. And then 2 agents came, and then they said that he lied to the FBI. And Flynn didn't know. He was deceived. He didn't know that it was some kind of widespread investigation, that he was being targeted. But there was nothing that he ever did wrong. The only thing that he was forced to plead guilty to was lying to the FBI, not working with another country. Similar to Papadopoulos and Manafort and Carter Page. Well, Carter Page, he's suing James Comey and everyone else, as he should. He was never indicted for anything because the government knew everything he was doing. But they set him up and framed him. They needed scapegoats, and they needed public relations victories because they couldn't get Trump. That's why when I do these satirical segments, and some people don't understand, Trump's never getting indicted. He didn't commit a crime. It's the Democrats who commit crimes, but they don't get indicted. Look at Hunter's emails. Look at the Clinton, the foundation emails. So, I mean, you look at all these, and again, I want Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. Has to happen. But you can look at all these pay-to-play schemes. You could see this right there. How can you use your influence on behalf of the company, Hunter? And then you have FBI officials, Strzok, setting up and framing Trump. So it's like, it's right there. You don't have to look far. But hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. He's suing, and it goes on. It talks about how all of these agents worked in unison. They might have been, like Kleinsmith also, like he's the indicted attorney within the Durham probe. Then you have Sussman, who was paid by Clinton. Then you have Danchenko, who was the source of the Steele dossier. There are going to be more indictments, people. There are going to be a lot more indictments. But each Durham probe indictment helps Trump's lawsuits against all of these individuals. And he's a billionaire. He's never going to stop suing these people. So at the end of the day, like, how does it benefit Strzok or any of these people? McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, Comey? Like, well, I don't believe Clapper. Oh, no, is Clapper named? Brennan isn't named. But how does it benefit any of these people and entities? Fusion GPS, Bruce and Nellie Orr? Like, you went and you tried to undermine an incoming candidate. That was not a peaceful transition of power. When they say Trump and a peaceful transition of power, this was not, and I've been saying for years, President Obama and his intelligence agencies went after an incoming president of a different political party. That is not a transition that's peaceful. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I'll be back in about an hour. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel right now. I have a segment. Elon Musk just purchased, 7% of Twitter. So he's going to completely revitalize that platform. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook. I haven't been for years and years. I suggest people don't social media. I don't even think people should be on social media. It's like a scourge upon humanity. But it'll be a completely different platform, a much better platform. Hopefully, Elon Musk can turn it into a place that people can express their views without being silenced, like the New York Post with Hunter's emails. The Washington Post tried to address that. Oh, well, it's a reckoning. It's like, no, you did what you did for the Democratic Party, just like Strzok and McCabe and all of them, and Comey and Clapper and Brand. They all did what they did for one political party. Give me your thoughts. Hit subscribe.